So, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to move to another aspect. We're going to look at the more general aspect of network of terms. And in order to do so, we are joined by Enno Meijers, who is CTO of the Dutch Heritage Network and advisor at the research department of the National Library of the Netherlands. Good afternoon, Enno.
Good afternoon.
Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell a little bit more about the work we are doing in the Netherlands for the Dutch Digital Heritage Network. And the piece I will be telling is especially about how to create 5-star linked data. As we all know, it's very important to create very high quality linked data by linking to external data, and that is what our solution, the network of terms, is really about. But before I go into the details of the network of terms, I will start with a small introduction about the Dutch Digital Heritage Network. It's really a cooperation between all the different heritage institutions in the Netherlands, and it's a national program aimed to improve the visibility of digital heritage information in the Netherlands by making the information more visible, more usable, and more sustainable. And especially on the usable part, we regard linked data as an enabling technology. So we implement a lot of linked data technologies within the Dutch Digital Heritage Network. And I'll give a very brief overview of our approach. And as you can imagine, the network of heritage institutions have a lot of collections, and there have been a lot of digitization projects going on. So there's a lot of digital information available, but they're all in different institutions. But they are often contain objects about the same topics of the same persons, the same places. And by using terminology sources with standardized terms available as linked data for all the different topics that can be connected, you can create, of course, a network of data, and that is what we're trying to aim. The network of terms is a tool that provides access to all the different terminologies that are relevant for making the links. And with building this, with using these links, we can build knowledge graph services. And of course, in order to do so in a networking approach, and we saw it already before, it's really important that you also have a data registry. And this is basically the overview of the program we're doing for the Dutch Digital Heritage Institutions. There are a lot of different terminology sources, and I just listed the ones that are currently available through our federated querying engine, which is basically the network of terms, because normally, and we already talked about maintenance hell, and if you want to reuse a terminology source, then you need to aggregate it, implement it in your system in order to use it, which of course gives a lot of problems, especially when you want to use multiple sources. So that's why we came up with a federated querying solution. So it doesn't aggregate the data from the sources, it just does federated querying using linked data. And we really aimed it, designed it to be very easy to implement in collection management systems, and that's why we translated all the different models to a SCOS model, which is of course a very popular model for terminology sources. And we also are transforming the API for itself. And that we choose to use GraphQL for implementation. So that's a very popular, well-known API. And we use SPARQL API at the back end to query all the different sources. And the federated querying is being done by the Communica, using the Communica framework, which is being developed by Peter and colleagues from the University of Ghent. For the time, I'll skip the live demo. It's available in the slides, but it's really not about the front end, but it's really about the API. So the API is the important part we want to promote, so that all different organizations can implement the API within their system and perform queries to find relevant terms for their use. Of course, you also need to have a functionality to do bulk processing, because you have a lot of legacy data you want to align to terminology sources as well, to terms. So we provided also an API for use within OpenRefine, which is of course a very well-known tool for data cleaning and aligning data. So all the different sources are accessible through the OpenRefine API on our network of terms. Currently, we have implemented the API for the network of terms in a lot of in a number of different collection management systems, also in several open source systems. The code is openly available on our GitHub, and the interesting part, of course, is that this tool is just a generic tool for finding linked data terminology sources, so reference sources for using URIs in your data. And of course, we are using this within our network of terms for the cultural heritage domain, but it could be used in any other domain as well. And that's why I was happy to have the opportunity to show this tool to you, and maybe there are other domains that are interested in reusing this idea, and then I would invite you to give it a try and share your ideas with us and let us know if it works for you or not. And of course, the more people that use the software, the stronger the software will be. So that's a very brief overview of this piece of the work we're doing, and thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much, Enno. Thank you. I have a couple of questions here for you, actually. Does digital heritage information provided by the cultural institutions fulfill all your requirements, or would you like to enhance or enrich it in the future?
Well, that's a very good point, of course, in general, and that is basically also why we decided to develop this network of terms. It's really important to have well-defined references in your data, of course, and the data quality in general of cultural heritage collections is not always at the level where we want it to be. And especially if you want to build user applications based on the data, then you often run into problems. So the more standardization at the source, the better the end product will be, and the services you can build with it can be. So it's really important, and we have still a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, always more and always better. What are the main advantages of linking your data?
Okay. Well, for the cultural heritage domain, it's really obvious actually, because if you're interested in a specific topic or a specific place, there is never one institution that has all the data or all the information you're looking for. So you always need to query multiple different institutions, and that is in the cultural heritage domain quite difficult because you have a lot of different search interfaces, a lot of different places you need to go to in order to find all the details. So, and of course we have Google, but as we all know, Google doesn't tell everything there is, of course, and especially if you're you're interested in very detailed subjects. So by linking it all to the same identifiers, to the same URIs, then it becomes a lot more easier to integrate the data and to build services that use the really connected digital heritage information, as we call it.
One more question. Have you considered using GraphQL or JSON LD all the way to the sources?
We haven't, and we really are standardizing on the linked data part using the SPARQL, because that's a very generic language, of course, and we have interfaces between GraphQL and SPARQL, but the sources themselves being available as linked data is already a process that is really going on for quite a bit already, and there's a lot of data available as linked data. And of course, it gives you a lot of different opportunities as well to work with that data when it's available as linked data. The SPARQL and the linked data approach is a lot more powerful than just the GraphQL, I think.
Thank you very much, Enno, and thanks a lot for being with us this afternoon. Thank you.